guys, this is my annual Oscar nominations reaction video. Yeah, I'm currently in Fiji. I'm in a hotel and I have to speak in a lower register because there are people on either side of the walls in this room. It's currently 1 AM and yeah, these reactions might cause me to shriek and scream and squeal with glee, but I'm gonna try and contain all my emotions as best as I can. I've got a pillow here to scream into if need be, if something amazing happens or something terrible happens as well. In this video, you're going to see me react to all 24 of the nominees for the 92nd Academy Awards, and then I'm going to talk about who the surprises were, who the snubs were, what films got the most nominations, and yeah, just my general overall feeling as to how I feel to the 92nd Academy Award nominations. I'm predicting that the films with the most nominations this year are going to be The Irishman. I think that's going to have the most nominations, probably around 10, I would say, and then I think Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is going to come in just behind it with 9, and then I think Joker is going to get quite a lot. It did very well at the BAFTAs this year. Then Jojo Rabbit I think is going to perform very well, and then Marriage Story as well I think is going to do quite well. And the last film that I really want to see get a lot of nominations is Parasite. That was one of my favourite films of the year. I want to see it get lots of nominations because it was one of the best films of the year, if not the best, and it deserves to be heavily nominated. So yeah, I'm hoping it gets a few nominations. I would love to see it get an acting nomination for Song Kang-ho. Bong Joon-ho I think is pretty much a lock for Best Director. I would love to see this get a nomination for Best Picture as well. Speaking of Best Director, there are 4 which are essentially locks. Bong Joon-ho for Parasite, Martin Scorsese for The Irishman, Quentin Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Sam Mendes for 1917, which leaves 1 spot available. It's kind of a 3-way race at the moment. A lot of people are predicting it's going to be Noah Baumbach for Marriage Story, some people are saying Todd Phillips for Joker, others are saying Greta Gerwig for Little Women. Hopefully Greta Gerwig gets a nomination, but don't be surprised if Todd Phillips or Taika Waititi show up here, because Taika Waititi got a nomination at the Director Guild Awards and Todd Phillips got a nomination for Best Director at the Golden Globes. Only 5 women in history have ever been nominated for Best Director. Greta Gerwig is one of them, so if she does secure a nomination, then she will be the first woman in history to ever get 2 nominations for directing. So it is open. Of course, I'm going to be reacting to all 24 of the categories this year, but if you want to see my full list of Oscar nominations predictions, there is a link in the video description down below to my Gold Derby where you can see all of the predictions that I've made. You can see how many I got right, how many I got wrong, and yeah, where I came in the tally of predictions. Yeah, there's also a link down there for my Twitter. Yeah, if you ever want to stay up to date with all my Oscars news, predictions, thoughts, whatever, add me on Twitter, follow me, and of course, if you want to see my Oscar reactions on the night, be sure to subscribe to my channel. And of course, this is just one bloke's opinion. I would love to hear from you guys. What did you guys think of the 2020 Oscar nominations? Who were you overjoyed with that got a nomination? Who were the biggest surprises? Who were you angry that got snubbed? And who do you guys think are going to be the eventual winners? Whatever you guys think, be sure to let your voices be heard in that comment section down below. A couple things to be excited about. Scarlett Johansson potentially could get 2 Oscar nominations, one for Best Actress for Marriage Story and one for Best Supporting Actress for Jojo Rabbit. It has been a long time since any actor has been nominated twice in the same year. The last time it happened was back at the 80th Academy Awards when Cate Blanchett was nominated for Best Actress for Elizabeth the Golden Age and Best Supporting Actress for I'm Not There. Only 10 foreign language films have ever been nominated for Best Picture, so if Parasite does get the nomination, it will be the 11th Best Picture nominee that is foreign language. If The Irishman does get nominated for Best Picture, it's looking like it will, then this will be Martin Scorsese's 9th film that's been nominated for Best Picture. James Mangold's film for Viva Roy does have the chance to get into the Best Picture category this year, and James Mangold has a history of his films being nominated but never securing the nomination for Best Picture. His previous film, Logan, was the first ever comic book film to ever land a nomination for Best Adapted Screenplay, so who knows, maybe this could be his year. It's a really strong year for Netflix as well. I'm predicting there's going to be a lot of nominations from the Netflix editions this year. They're mostly going to come from The Irishman and Marriage Story, but we could see nominations for Dolomite Is My Name, The Two Popes, and potentially Uncut Gems. So every year when it comes to predicting the Oscars, my heart always wants certain people to get nominated, and my head says they're just not going to get nominated. So I have a wish list of people that I would really like to see get nominated this year. First of all, I would love to see some love for The Farewell. I would love to see Awkwafina get a nomination for Best Actress, as well as Zhao Zhuzhen for Best Supporting Actress. I love this film. I do think it's going to get a nomination for Best Original Screenplay, so I think it will get some attention, but I just think it deserves more love. Secondly, I would love to see any nominations for Booksmart. It's ridiculous how under the radar this film has flown during all of award season. It is an incredible film. It deserves more attention, more acclaim. It deserves to be acknowledged. It did get a nomination at the BAFTAs for writing, so maybe it could sneak into Best Original Screenplay, but I'm not putting my money on it. But if it does show up here, I'm going to be very happy. It doesn't matter what category it's in. If Booksmart gets a nomination anywhere, I'm going to be ecstatic. Again, another thing that I really do want to see is a nomination for any female director. It could be Greta Gerwig. Personally, I would love to see Lulu Wang get a nomination for The Farewell because I have so much love for that film. So yeah, any female nomination will do, and it will certainly avert any backlash that will happen minutes after the Oscars are announced. Another film that I would love to see get some recognition is Robert Eggers' The Lighthouse. I think it's just a bit too weird to get nominations this year, but I have so much love for Willem Dafoe in this. I would love to see him get a nomination for Best Supporting Actor, but I'm not sure it's going to happen. But if he did show up again, I would just be over the moon. I would also love to see it get a nomination for cinematography as well. It's absolutely amazing, and sometimes the Academy does like to nominate black and white films for cinematography, so never know. Of course, there's always one performance in a horror film that everybody wants to see nominated, and last year it was Toni Collette for Hereditary. She didn't get nominated. A lot of people are really hoping that Lupita Nyong'o gets into Best Actress, myself included. I think it is one of the best performances of the year. She deserves it. It's not out of the realms of possibility. She did land the SAG nomination. Unless we forget that Jordan Peele's previous film, Get Out, managed to secure a nomination for Daniel Kaluuya. So you never know, maybe Lupita Nyong'o could sneak it in. She is the surprise nomination. That would make me so happy if she did. So yeah, the films I'm rooting for to get nominations are Booksmart, The Farewell, Parasite, Joker, Marriage Story, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Even Knives Out I'd love to see get a nomination for Best Original Screenplay. It would be really nice to see Antonio Banderas get a nomination for Pain and Glory. He did win the Best Actor at the Cannes Film Festival, and hopefully he can land his first ever Academy Award nomination. He's very due. Taron Egerton's another one I would really like to see nominated. He's been campaigning his heart out, and I feel like he's going to be there. Elton John is going to be in the Best Song category, and he has been rallying behind him to get the support for Best Actor. Potential nominees that I think have absolutely nothing to worry about include Adam Driver, Joaquin Phoenix for Best Actor, Renee Zellweger for Judy, Laura Dern for Marriage Story, Brad Pitt for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. These are your big contenders for all the categories for acting. It's actually quite a boring year for acting because most of the precursors have shown us who the eventual winners are going to be on Oscars night. Alright, the nominations are about to be announced, so I guess I'll see you guys on the other side. Best Supporting Actress.
The Academy's Actors Branch nominate these performances
Zhao Zhuzhen, come on.
by an actress in a supporting role. Kathy Bates in Richard Jewell.
Ooh, surprise already. Wow.
Yes. Laura Dern in Marriage Story.
Expected. Yep.
Scarlett Johansson in Jojo Rabbit.
Much is there. Wait, Jojo Rabbit. Oh,
Florence Pugh in Little Women.
Oh!
And Margot Robbie in Bombshell.
Oh, wow. Scarlett Johansson's going to get the double nomination. Costume design.
The Irishman.
Sandy Powell.
Jojo Rabbit. Joker.
Joker.
Little Women.
Yep.
And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. We need to nominate
Pretty safe category.
For achievement in sound mixing,
Rocket
the
Man,
branch
Ford v
nominates
Ferrari.
Ad Astra,
Ooh, yes.
Ford versus Ferrari,
Yes.
Joker, 1917,
Yep, to be expected.
and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
No nomination for Rocket Man.
These are the nominees for achievement in sound editing. Ford versus Ferrari.
17.
Joker.
17.
1917.
Yep.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes.
And Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker.
Here are the nominees for original score voted by
Come
the
on.
music branch.
Joker, 1917. Woo! Hold up.
Little Women,
Yep.
Marriage Story,
Yes. Randy Newman.
1917,
Let's do the Strat. Yes.
Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker.
John Williams got a nomination. Wow. Surprise.
Short for Best Animated Short Film, here are the nominees. Shara, Daughter. Hair Love.
Ooh.
Chick Bull.
Yep.
Memorable.
For Best Live Action Short Film, The Branch nominates Brotherhood,
Yep.
Nefta Football Club,
Refugee.
The Neighbor's Window, Saria, and
My
The
Sister.
Sister.
There we go.
The nominees for performance by an actor in a supporting
Pitt,
role
Pesci,
are
Pacino.
Tom
Hanks.
Hanks in A Beautiful
Tom
Day in the
Hanks.
Neighborhood.
Yay. Finally, he's broken his curse.
Anthony Hopkins in The Two
Oh,
Popes.
there we go. Representing the
Al
Brits.
Pacino in The Irishman.
Pacino, Pesci,
Joe Pesci in The Irishman.
and Brad Pitt.
And Brad Pitt in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Ooh.
Bunch of no-names right there.
Anthony Hopkins was the surprise there.
We still
All
have
white,
more
though.
nominee announcements. We'll be back at exactly 5:30.
Just realizing that both the supporting acting categories are all white people, so let's hope that the Best Actor and Best Actress categories have some diversity in them, because yeah, they're not representing diversity so far. Gutted there was no nomination for Zhao Zhizhen for The Farewell or Song King Ho for Parasite, but hey, surprise though, Kathy Bates. She was like maybe 8th on my list, so surprised that she made it into the category, but hey, good for her. Need to see Richard Jewell now. I'm feeling now that Anthony Hopkins has got the nomination for Best Supporting Actor that Jonathan Pryce could show up in the Best Actor category now as well. But who's he gonna knock out? Is it Antonio Banderas? Taron Egerton? Let's find out.
The nominees for Best Documentary Feature.
Apollo 11.
American Factory. The Cave.
Ooh. Good.
Edge of Democracy.
Yeah.
For Summer.
Ah.
And Honeyland.
Ah. Snubbed Apollo 11. That was the one I was guaranteed was going to be a
And
hit.
here are the nominees for Best Documentary Short Subject. In the Absence. Learning to skateboard in a war zone
Yep.
if you're a girl.
Stay close.
Life Overtakes Me.
Huh.
St. Louis Superman.
Right.
And Walk, Run, Cha-Cha.
I didn't do well in that category, don't think.
Best International Feature Film Award, and the nominees are Corpus Christi, Poland, Honeyland, North Macedonia,
Oh. The best documentary as well.
Zerab, France,
Nice.
Pain and Glory, Spain,
There you go. And Parasite.
and Parasite, South Korea.
Close. Well, we know who's winning that category.
The Production Design branch nominates
Ooh.
these films for achievement in production design.
1917.
The Irishman.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Joker.
Jojo Rabbit. 1917.
Yep.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Close.
And Parasites.
Yes! Oh, well done. So glad Parasite is in Best Production
Here
Design.
are the nominees
Love the
for
setting for that
achievement in
film.
film editing, voted
Ooh.
by the Academy's Film Editors Branch.
Ford v. Ferrari.
versus Ferrari,
1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
The Irishman,
Eh.
Jojo Rabbit,
Oh. Yep.
Joker,
Oh, wow.
and Parasite.
Oh my god, Parasite's in editing! Ooh! That means it's in the running for Best
For
Picture.
achievement in cinematography, the Cinematographers branch nominates the following
Ooh.
films.
Roger Deakins, 1917.
The Irishman. Joker.
Oh yes. Gorgeous cinematography.
The Lighthouse.
Yes! The Lighthouse got a nomination!
1917.
Yep. There we go. Oh,
And Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
boom! Yes. So thrilled that The Lighthouse made it into there. Fantastic choice.
We're doing
Yes,
great.
Academy.
We're killing it.
You got one right.
Academy's Visual Effects Branch nominates
Visual
the
effects.
following films for
Avengers
achievement in
Endgame,
visual
1917,
effects.
The Irishman, The Lion King.
Avengers Endgame,
Yep.
The Irishman, The Lion King,
Yep.
1917,
Yep. Last.
and Star Wars: The Rise of Skywalker.
Dang. Your son wins a
It's a pretty safe category. Yeah, agree with all
For
those.
achievement in makeup and hairstyling, the members
Bombshell.
of this branch nominate the following films.
Makeup and hairstyling. Bombshell.
Bombshell.
Boom. Judy, Rocketman. Judy. Joker, yes.
Judy.
Yes.
Maleficent, Mistress of Evil.
Ooh.
And 1917.
And makeup and hairstyling.
Air show.
Huh. Okay.
Best animated
Over
feature
Rocketman.
film is voted
Okay.
on
Best
the
animated
feature
film.
animation branch as well as
Frozen 2,
members of the
Toy
animation
Story
community
4.
across all branches. Here are the nominees. How to Train Your Dragon, The Hidden World.
There you go. Next is your...
I Lost My Body.
Another Netflix film.
Klaus.
Oh, Klaus made it in. Okay.
Missing Link.
Oh my god, Frozen 2 is not in here.
And Toy Story 4.
Frozen 2 got snubbed. Well, that was a surprise. But Klaus made it in. Get in
The
there.
music branch
Original
nominates
song.
I Can't Let You Throw Yourself Away from Toy Story 4.
Oh, I was not expecting that, but cool. Randy
I'm
Newman.
Gonna Love Me Again from Rocketman.
I don't know. Beyonce, The Lion King,
I'm
Stick.
Standing With You from Breakthrough.
Yep.
Into the Unknown from Frozen 2.
There's Frozen's nomination. There's Frozen 2's nomination.
Stand Up from Harriet.
Ah! Beyonce got snubbed. The Academy snubbed Beyonce Knowles.
The
Wow.
Writers branch
Damn.
oversees 2 categories.
We thought that was a safe bet.
Here are the nominees
No-
for
no
writing,
Beyonce performance at the
adapted
Oscars.
screenplay.
Best adapted
The
screenplay.
Irishman,
Irishman.
Stephen Zaley,
Two Popes. Joker. Little Women.
Jojo Rabbit, Taika
Yep.
Waititi,
Yep.
Joker, Todd Phillips and Scott Silver,
Yep.
Little Women, Greta Gerwig,
Definitely. Yes. This Greta Gerwig has a nomination.
and The Two Popes, Anthony McCartan.
Cool. I think I got all 5 of those right. Again, it's a very safe category. Very easy to predict.
And for writing, original screenplay, the
Original
members of the branch nominate
Parasite. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Knives Out,
Oh,
Ryan
yes.
Johnson,
Excellent. I'm glad I got a nomination. The Farewell.
Marriage Story,
Yep.
Noah Baumbach,
Good, good, good. The Farewell.
1917, Sam Mendes and Christy Wilson Cairns.
Really? Screenplay?
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Quentin Tarantino.
Yep.
And Parasite.
Yes.
Bong Joon-ho, Han Jin-won.
Oh. Well, at least Parasite got it in there. No Love for the Farewell or Booksmart, Best Original Screenplay.
For performance
Yeah,
by
well.
an actor in a leading
1917?
role,
Really?
the actors
Ooh, lead
branch
actor. Here we go.
nominates Antonio Banderas
Yes!
in Pain and Glory.
Yes. Banderas finally gets his first nomination.
Leonardo DiCaprio in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Taron Egerton.
Adam Driver in Marriage Story. Joaquin Phoenix in Joker.
Jonathan Price.
And Jonathan Price in The Two Popes.
There it is. He knocked out Taron Egerton. Good for
For
him.
performance by an actress
Poor
in a
Taron
leading
Egerton,
role, the
Leading
Actors
actress.
branch nominates
Cynthia Lupita Nyong'o.
Cynthia Erivo in Harriet,
Yep. Good. Good. Some diversity.
Scarlett Johansson in Marriage Story, Saoirse Ronan in Little Women,
No Lupita Nyong'o, damn it.
Charlize Theron in Bombshell,
And Renee Zellweger. Judy.
Renee Zellweger in Judy,
Directing, here we go.
The Irishman, Martin
Scorsese.
Scorsese.
Bong Joon-ho.
Joker, Todd Phillips.
Oh my god, Todd Phillips did it. He's in.
1917, Sam Mendes. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Quentin Tarantino.
And Parasite, Bong
And
Joon-ho.
Parasite, Bong Joon-ho. I did it.
All males. Again.
Congratulations to those men.
Todd Phillips makes it
And
in.
finally,
Oh, good
all
on him.
voting members of the Academy have nominated the following films for
Best
Best
Picture.
Picture.
How many do we have?
Ford versus Ferrari,
There we go.
Peter Chernin, Jeno Topping, and James Mangold, producers.
Big reaction for Ford v Ferrari.
The Irishman, Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro,
Yep.
Jane Rosenthal, and Emma Tillinger-Koskoff. Producer.
1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Joker, My Story,
Jojo Rabbit.
Jojo Rabbit.
Garth O'Neill and Taika Waititi, producers.
Joker, Todd Phillips, Bradley Cooper, and Emma Tillinger-Koskoff. Producer.
Forgot that Bradley Cooper was a producer.
Little Women, Amy Pascal, producer.
Yes! At least Little Women made it in. Yes.
Marriage Story, Noah Baumbach and David Heyman. Producers.
Yeah. Thank God.
1917, Sam Mendes, Pippa Harris, Jane Ann Tengren, and Callum McDougall, producers.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
It is.
David Heyman, Shannon McIntosh, and Quentin Tarantino. Producers.
Oh,
And Parasite, Kwak Shin-hye and Bong Joon-ho, producers.
yes! 9 nominees
The
this year.
nominees.
Thank you,
For Best
everyone.
Right, there we go. Okie dokie. Wow, that was an interesting announcement. I didn't get overly excited about too many of the nominees. I think my biggest reaction was probably finding out that Antonio Banderas got a nomination for Best Actor. Long overdue. Good for him. Very excited that The Lighthouse got a nomination for Best Cinematography as well. So glad it made it in there. At least it got 1 nomination. Yes, a little bit of acknowledgement. Knives Out did get a nomination though. That was a nice little surprise. As for snubs, The Farewell didn't get any love. No nominations for Awkwafina, Zhao Shuzhen. Lulu Wang did get a nomination for writing or directing, which is just... ugh, it's painful. It just makes me so sad that she's not here. No love for Booksmart. Again, just another wonderful female-driven film, not given any love, just like The Farewell. It's not here. So yeah, so have some beefs there. One of the first glaring things that came to mind was that the acting categories this year are still dominated by white people. There is 1 person of color in all 4 of the categories. Oh no, there's 2. Antonio Banderas for Best Actor and Cynthia Erivo for Best Actress. Those are the only 2 people representing diversity in the categories this year. It's still predominantly white people, which is a shame because there are so many wonderful, talented people of color that gave wonderful performances this year that didn't get a nomination. People I just listed: Awkwafina, Zhao Shuzhen, Song Kang-ho, pretty much anyone in the cast of Parasite. Lupita Nyong'o, Alfred Woodward, Jamie Foxx for Just Mercy, Michael B. Jordan also for Just Mercy. Oh yeah, J-Lo. Where the hell is J-Lo? A lot of people are going to be upset that she is not in Best Supporting Actress. Yeah, there's probably going to be a little bit of heat on Twitter for that. Let's talk a little bit about Best Picture. So we've got 9 nominees this year. That's 1 up from last year. So this year we've got vying for Best Picture: Parasite, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, The Irishman, 1917, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, Ford v Ferrari. So yeah, this is pretty much all the Best Picture films that I predicted on Gold Derby. I put The Farewell at the bottom as a, wishful thinking nomination. It didn't, but yes, it's a pretty good mix. It's very eclectic. I'm so glad that Parasite is in here. But yeah, some films that didn't get into Best Picture: Two Popes, Bombshell, The People Down in the Neighborhood, Rocket Man, Hustlers, The Lighthouse, and Knives Out. And yes, it happens. Scarlett Johansson is nominated in 2 acting categories. You got Best Actress for Marriage Story and Best Supporting Actress in Jojo Rabbit. So congrats to her, 2 nominations in the same year. I mean, she's never even been nominated prior to this year. I don't think she'll win either of them. It's still to be seen, but I mean, it's still an amazing accomplishment. So yeah, kudos to her. Another snub, Frozen 2. That was a surprise. Didn't get into Best Animated Feature. And you know what? I shouldn't be that surprised really, because guess what? Frozen 2 wasn't that good. I'm sorry. Say what you want. I don't think it was a very good film. And the fact that it didn't make it into Best Animated Feature, I mean, it is shocking, but at the same time, it shouldn't be all that shocking because it is a far less impressive film. Yes, some of the songs in it are okay, and yes, it definitely deserves the nomination for Best Song for Into the Unknown, and it could still win that, but yeah, the fact that it didn't get into Best Animated Feature, I'm not crying over it. In fact, I think it's actually a fantastic mix of films in there. You've got Klaus, you've got I Lost My Body, you've got How to Train Your Dragon 3, and you've got Toy Story 4, so yeah, it's a fantastic mix, and Missing Link as well. looking for that fifth one. So who got the most nominations then? It was actually Joker that ended up getting 11 nominations in total. That is a staggering amount. And then there's 3 films that got 10 nominations. Those were 1917, The Irishman, and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And then there were 4 films that got 6 nominations apiece: Jojo Rabbit, Parasite, Little Women, and Marriage Story. Little Women got more nominations than I was expecting it to, but yeah, it did very well. Got Best Picture, Best Actress, Supporting Actress, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Score and Costume Design, phenomenal haul. Then Parasite got about as much as I was hoping it to, but it didn't get any of the acting nominations, but it got some in the technical departments where I thought it was an outsider, like production design. I didn't think it was guaranteed to get in there, but I so think it deserves it. And Best Editing as well. That is a great sign that it's in Best Editing, because often a film that wins Best Editing is a good precursor as to who could win Best Picture, and the fact that it's in Best Editing is a good sign, so hopefully it has a chance of still being the winner of Best Picture. A few more surprises: Kathy Bates as well for Richard Jewell. Haven't seen that film, but yes, she was on my radar, but not someone that I thought was going to get in here, but yeah, kudos to her. Anthony Hopkins and Jonathan Pryce both got nominations for Best Supporting Actor and Best Actor for The Two Popes. The Academy saw The Two Popes, they loved it, made it another win for Netflix. A nice surprise for me was Ad Astra getting a nomination for sound mixing as well. I thought this movie wasn't going to get any nominations, but I'm glad it did, because it totally deserves some recognition, because it is a beautifully made film. It's nice that it got a nomination at least. When it comes to snubs though, another film that didn't get in was Uncut Gems. A lot of people were hoping Adam Sandler might get a nomination for Best Actor, but wasn't meant to be, and yet didn't get any nominations anywhere else. There was a chance it could have gotten into editing, but it didn't. In Best Supporting Actress category, we have Laura Dern, Margot Robbie, Florence Pugh, Kathy Bates, and Scarlett Johansson. For Best Supporting Actor, the person that showed up in the 5th slot was Anthony Hopkins. So yes, the 4 that we were all expecting, Pitt, Pesci, Pacino, and Tom Hanks, all made it in here. Kudos to all them, all sort of like legends of the industry as well. It's a very stacked category of big names. Moving on to Best Actress, we've got Cynthia Erivo for playing Harriet Tubman in the movie Harriet, and yeah, important historical figure. No surprise that she did get the nomination for Best Actress, even though she was shut out of the BAFTAs. And yes, Cynthia Erivo managed to get 2 nominations, one for Best Actress and also one for Best Song with Stand Up for also the movie Harriet, which is a repeat of what Lady Gaga did last year with A Star Is Born. She also got a nomination for Best Actress and Best Song. Then we also got Scarlett Johansson for Marriage Story, as expected, Charlize Theron for Bombshell, Renee Zellweger for Judy, and Saoirse Ronan for Little Women. It would have been lovely to see Awkwafina or Lupita Nyong'o in here, but nope. Best Actor, we have Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory. Well done. Adam Driver for Marriage Story. Joaquin Phoenix for Joker. We have Leonardo DiCaprio for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. And the surprise show up here was Jonathan Pryce for The Two Popes. A lot of snubs that people are probably feeling. Robert De Niro didn't get in. Christian Bale for Ford v Ferrari. Taron Egerton as well, I thought was going to be here. Didn't make it in. Of course, George McKay for 1917. Eddie Murphy for Dolomite Is My Name. Yeah, it was a very tough category this year. For Best Directing, we've got Bong Joon-ho for Parasite. Yes, so happy with that. Sam Mendes for 1917. Quentin Tarantino for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Martin Scorsese for The Irishman. And the 5th slot got taken up by Todd Phillips for Joker. I mean, he is deserving. Joker is a beautifully made film. But, yes, it's all dudes. Again, do you guys notice before they announced the nominations, they made a point of saying, oh, in the Academy, the actors vote for the actors, the editors vote for the editors, and the directors vote for directors. It's just basically them saying, covering their own asses, it's saying, oh, the directors are the ones in charge or responsible for choosing who is selected for Best Directing. Still, they seem to be always leaning towards the male directors. So yeah, there's something to be talked about there. At least we do have Bong Joon-ho, you know, providing a little bit of diversity as well. I still think he's the dark horse to win this one, but yeah, we'll wait and see. Best Adapted Screenplay, I pretty much nailed. It was The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, Little Women, and The Two Popes. It was a very, very easy category to predict this year, but yeah, pretty much got that bang on. Original Screenplay, Knives Out, Marriage Story, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite. 1917, I just don't feel belongs here. Like, it's a beautifully made film, but it's not a film where the script, you know, sucks you in and you feel amazed by it. You get sucked in by the way it's crafted, the way it's made, the way the camera moves, the ethereal nature of the cinematography and whatnot. The script is okay. It's not bad. It's just, it shouldn't be here over something like The Farewell. It's just like, I don't know why it's here. Cinematography I'm quite happy with. We've got The Irishman for Rodrigo Prieto. There's Joker for Lawrence Sher. The Lighthouse, awesome. 1917 for Roger Deakins. Yeah, probably going to get his 2nd Oscar win here. and then Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as well for Robert Richardson. So yeah, gorgeously shot film. Film editing I'm pretty happy with. Ford v Ferrari, The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, Joker, and Parasite. I would have liked to have seen Marriage Story in here, and I would have probably substituted that for Jojo Rabbit, but I'm still pretty happy with the selection. I'm so happy Parasite is here, because Parasite is a phenomenal film, obviously, but it has this massive tonal shift in Parasite, and a big part of how it successfully lands that tonal shift is down to the editing, because it's so crisp, it's so slick, it doesn't feel jarring, it's just so well done. Editing, big part of that. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood is not here. I was expecting to see it in here. Parasite is there, and if it does win film editing on the night, then a lot of people will be feeling more confident that Parasite could win Best Film at the end of it all. So yeah, let's wait and see for that. For production design, we've got The Irishman, Jojo Rabbit, 1917, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, and Parasite. Big contenders there were 1917 and Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Again, wonderful to see Parasite here. Yeah, it would have been nice to see Joker, but it's not there. It's still got 11 nominations, so yeah, probably not whinging over the fact that it was snubbed from production design. But yeah, original score, so glad that Joker did get the nomination for original score, along with Little Women, Alexander Desplat, Marriage Story, Randy Newman. Again, the Academy loves Randy Newman. So much so that Randy Newman's song from Toy Story 4, I Can't Let You So Far My Way, got a nomination for Best Original Song. John Williams again got a nomination for Star Wars. I mean, no surprise there. Costume design, Sandy Powell got a nomination for The Irishman. As much as I love Sandy Powell, I don't know if she needs to be here for a costume. But yeah, Jojo Rabbit, happy with Joker, Little Women, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood as well. All very much deserving being here. Again, it would have been nice to have seen Rocketman in this category. It got snubbed at the BAFTAs, and yes, it also got snubbed here. I'm like, what does Rocketman have to do? It's one of the most loud, flamboyant, eye-gasmic array of costumes that you've ever seen. It's Elton frickin' John. Like, how on earth did it not get nominated for Best Costume Design? That is absolutely bizarre. Visual effects, I got bang on. We had Avengers Endgame, The Irishman, 1917, The Lion King, Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker. It was a good night for the Brits as well. We had a lot of nominations, particularly in the acting categories. We had Cynthia Erivo, we had Jonathan Pryce and Anthony Hopkins for The Two Popes. We had Florence Pugh and Saoirse Ronan for Little Women. We also had Sam Mendes for directing as well, representing the Brits in the directing category, which is good. Sandy Powell, obviously, for costumes. As for first-time nominees, we've got a few. There's Antonio Banderas for Pain and Glory. That's his first ever acting nom at the Academy Awards, which is crazy. Another crazy one to think of is Jonathan Pryce, industry veteran, you know, beloved, you know, by so many people, and never been nominated. First time for Best Actor with The Two Popes. Also got Cynthia Erivo, 2 nominations, obviously, for Best Actress for Harriet, as well as Best Song. All the Best Supporting Actor category have been nominated before. Most of them have won as well. No, wait, they've all won something before, so yeah, what am I talking about? Brad Pitt has won an Oscar before. He won for producing 12 Years a Slave. In Best Supporting Actress, we have Florence Pugh, first-time nominee. She had a very good year with Midsommar, Fighting With My Family, and now, yeah, she's finally getting solidified with her performance as Amy in Little Women. So yeah, I think I did okay in my predictions. I'm going to go on Gold Derby in a moment and check to see where I came in the rankings. I don't think I did amazing, but I don't think I did too bad. But yeah, as for the nominees overall, I'm fairly happy with them. A few snubs, but you know, it always happens. There's always a few where you're like, why are you not nominated? It is a bit homogenous in terms of how many white people are nominated in the acting categories. There's also predominantly male in the Best Director, which is a little bit of an issue. Best Picture does have a nice eclectic mix of films, you know, representing, and I'm so happy that Parasite is there. So I will be doing an Oscars reaction video for all the winners on Oscars night, February 9th. If you guys are into the Oscars, you like predictions, you like theorizing about who's going to win, and all that jazz, be sure to subscribe to my channel, obviously, and also if you want to follow me on Twitter for all my thoughts and notions about the Oscars, be sure to add me on Twitter. I'll put it on the screen, but you can also find all my links for my social media down in the video description below. But as always, guys, this is just one book's opinion. I would love to hear, what did you guys think about the Oscar nominees this year? Who are you excited got a nomination? Who are you angry at that was snubbed? I want to hear all your thoughts in the comment section below. You're allowed to vent. If you're angry, let it out. I would want to hear. I'm angry at some of the exclusions. No love for the farewell. God, no love for the farewell. And yeah. Anywho, sorry. Whatever you guys think, be sure to let your voices be heard in that comment section down below. As always, thanks so much for watching, guys. For more things related to movies, TV, and popcorn culture, I'm Luke Hearfield, and I'll see you guys next time.